Hello, my lovelies. I think that I've actually done a video about this before, but I wanted to update the situation because a lot's changed. Well, not really changed, but I wanted to talk about bullying because, especially recently, I've had a lot going on, and it involves a lot of outside parties. And um, I've been bullied a lot throughout my entire life. Um, and it's taken me a really, really long time to realize that it's not me. It's not my fault that I'm being bullied. It's not my fault that those people that have tried bullying me, whether it be online bullying or in person or outside of being in person or whatever. Um, so it's definitely something that I've dealt with my entire life, and I actually wrote notes because I didn't want to be meandering all over the place like I did in my other video. Um, I realized that it's them. It is not me. It is not my fault. And if you're going through bullying too, whether you're in school and you're dealing with bullying from classmates and I'm really far away. I moved my monitor and there we go. It's a little better. Um, Even here on YouTube, I've noticed that a lot of people um, they try to be a keyboard, you know, they hide behind the internet thinking that, oh, okay, well, I'm going to say this and it's not going to be hurtful. Well, guess what? It is. Case in point, I don't know if you guys know what Jerseylicious is. Um, it's a show based here in New Jersey. It's stylists and Tracy DeMarco is one of the stylists, and she's getting married very, very, very soon. And the Jerseylicious Facebook page shared her bachelorette party weekend photos from Las Vegas. Now, I didn't look at the photos, mostly because my computer, for some reason, wouldn't open the page. I tried 2 different browsers, and I don't know if it was just down because it was so busy or whatever. But anyway, I was reading the comments in the comments section on Facebook, and I was just honestly, I was appalled. Everybody was calling her trash and saying she didn't have any class, and she was, she was ugly, she was fat, she was this, she was that. And honestly, I don't know Tracy. I've seen her on the show. Um, yeah, they don't portray her in the best light. She's supposed to be like the villainess of the show. However, and I actually said this on the thread. I'm like, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't know how much is staged. You don't know what's real and what's not. You have no idea. That aside, how would you feel? Put yourself in this girl's shoes. How would you feel if you were constantly, over and over and over again, every single day, told or had somebody saying she's ugly, she's fat, she's gross, she has no class, she has this, she's trash, she's this? Like, it's still hurtful. It doesn't matter if she's in the public, if she's a public figure or not. It's still hurtful and it's still bullying. And I'm sure, I think they just ended season 5, or they're just supposed to be starting season 5. It doesn't matter that it's only been 5 years, and I'm sure that she's used to the whole, being said, being told, or, seeing the comments. And she's even said it on one of the reunion shows that it's really hurtful, and she does cry. And, she's still a woman, and she's still a human being, and it still hurts. And it comes to, and this has been something that I've been thinking about all day long, because that's what started my thinking to do the video for bullying, or anti-bullying, or whatever. The reason people hate you, or bully you, or, whatever, it's not your fault. And as I said in my affirmations video the other day, what people think of me isn't my business, and it goes the same for you. Is, what people think of you shouldn't be your business. And even if they make it known and they say it to you, that's not your problem. It's theirs. It's on them. They're the ones that are insecure. They're the ones that are hurting. They're the ones that are stuck in a rut or whatever. People hate you for several reasons. And I wrote this part down because I did not want to forget it. One, they hate themselves, and they're insecure with themselves. Two, and I've experienced this, they're jealous. Three, they consider you a threat. As far as Tracy DeMarco is concerned, honestly, I think it's that she has a lot of talent. I've seen the hair that she does, on the show and everything like that. She's got a lot of talent, and I'm sure that people are jealous that, the show is based in Jersey, and of course there's a lot of jealousy when it comes to reality shows, because, people are like, well, I'm a regular person, why can't I be on a reality show? Well, I mean, right place, right time, or whatever. But anyway, they want to be you, and they can't. They want to be the way that you are. They want to, my cut that I was talking about a few videos ago is healing, and I just scratched and I just peeled it out. Anyway, that's why I have these notes. See, that's why I wrote them down, so I didn't get off track. Specifically for me, because of the way that I am, the way that I believe in a lot of stuff, the way that I look, the way that, let me tell you something. My entire life, I've had people jealous of me because of the way that I look. There's nothing that I can do about it. This is not my fault. It's my genes, and it's my family's fault. It's my DNA. I can't help the way I look. I know I'm beautiful. And I know you haters out there are going to be like, oh, well, she's not that pretty, she's not that pretty. But you know what? It does not matter to me what you think. What matters to me is what I think, and I know that I'm beautiful. And I'm told on a consistent basis by a lot of different people how great I am, how beautiful, how funny, how this, how that. I had somebody the other day on one of my videos from 2 years ago about breast implants. They were like, "Oh, do it. It'll take away from your ugly face and your ugly personality and this and that." And I was just like, "Okay." I didn't even bother replying. I just deleted and blocked. I deleted the comment. I blocked the person, and I'm like, I'm not gonna think about that. I'm not gonna let you bully me. I'm not gonna let you make me feel like shit, because your opinion does not matter to me. And I saw this quote and I wrote it down on Facebook a few nights ago, and I actually shared it. It says, never allow yourself to be defined by someone else's opinion of you. And I definitely think that goes along with the whole bullying thing. That brings to mind a lot about, and I'm leaning on my water bottle because I'm talking a lot, and I'm 9 minutes into it, and I still have a bunch of points left, so this is going to be a long video. I know a lot of people hate the LGBT community. I'm highly supportive of them because I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a lesbian. I've had many, 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 many friends that are gay, that are lesbian, that are even transgendered. I have a lot of transgender friends. I have a lot of lesbian friends. I have a lot of gay man friends. I have, and I see that there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm probably going to get hated on for this because I don't know who watches me and who doesn't, and I don't care. I quoted RuPaul the other day in my video because I think she's amazing. She's done a huge amount of work for the drag community. And when the whole Trevor project came out and they were doing that, it'll get better videos. I actually think that I tried to record something, but for some reason, I don't know what happened to the video. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it was on my other computer. My computer crashed before I got a chance to upload it. I'm not really sure, but I support that because it's just another thing of bullying. It's hate. And I don't understand hate. I don't get it. Like, we're not even allowed to say hate. My girls aren't even allowed to say the word hate in this house. That's a prime example of, being bullied. Is if you're gay, look at the divide in this country. Like, you have the Christians, the fundamentalist Christians or whatever, that think that homosexuality is wrong and that you choose to be that way. You don't choose to be gay. It's the way you are. It's the way you're born. You don't get to choose the way that whether you're gay, straight, transsexual, transgender, bi, whatever. You don't get to choose that. It's something, it's in your DNA. It's who you are. Just like I'm straight. It's not like I choose to be straight. It's the way that I am. And, I don't think it's right that, people bully the gay community into thinking, oh, you only chose that. You can choose to be straight if you want to. No, that's bullying. You can't bully someone into being straight. And, it's a fucked up situation where people feel the need to try to bully you into being intimidated into what they want you to be. And that's something that I've dealt with a lot in the last several years. Beginning with Cameron's family and Cameron, I was behind closed doors with Cameron. I was a certain way, and he loved me the way that I was. But when I was around his family, I had to be the way he wanted me to be around them. And while he didn't bully me, his family did. And they still doing it. When I was living with them, I can't tell you how many times I got into it with with my sister-in-law, because she would speak to me in a way that I was like, I am not having that. You do not get to speak to me that way. And it was because she was trying to bully me into doing what she wanted me to do. No. It's not right when someone tries to bully you into doing something that they want you to do, and you don't want to do it, and you feel in your heart of hearts that it's not the right thing for you to do, but yet you're still being bullied into it. It's not right. I grew up being bullied. My mother was, and I'm sure that you guys that have been, Julia, the people that have been watching me for a while know this story. They know I've gone into it. My mother was severely abusive. She was a bully. She was a hardcore bully. Even my stepfather divorced her because she was that way. She was forced to have me when she was 16, and she didn't want me. She had an abortion before she got pregnant with me. She got pregnant with me on an IUD, and it's when you grow up in a situation like that, and then on top of that, you're being bullied in school because you have blonde hair, so you're getting the blonde jokes. Because I came into a school that all the kids went to school together since kindergarten. I came in, I was the pretty new girl, I was talented, I could sing, I could write, I was really good at doing everything that I did, and so I got teased, I got bullied, I got shoved into lockers, you know what I mean? Like, one of the boys started a rumor about me that, we were in like 5th grade, and he just started spreading a rumor that we had sex. 5th grade, hello? No thanks. But I just found out some really karma biting in the ass kind of information about him that I was just like, hey, thank you. But I had the Polish last name, I had blonde hair, I was, the pretty new girl that just moved into town, and, instead of, people accepting me or whatever, I was different. And, I grew up in, well, for this little amount of time, I had a nice house, my mom didn't have the best car, but, it didn't matter. Like, I had a nice house and stuff like that, but I was still abused. I was still abused by mother. I was still, bullied in school and shoved into lockers and made to feel like shit, and it was bad. Like, I tried to commit suicide. I tried to kill myself because I couldn't take it. Thankfully I didn't. Because just, I'm happy to be alive. There may be shitty times during my life that I'm like, I can't take this anymore, but, suicide's not the answer. You know what I mean? Like, killing myself isn't going to make things stop. Because how many situations have you heard that somebody's been like, oh, I can't take it, I'm going to kill myself, and then they kill themselves, and then it's like all this shit comes out about them. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, oh, well, she did this, and she did that, and he did that, and he did this, and this, he was doing that, and she was doing this, and, it's, bullying is just, it's such a bad situation, and please, if you're being bullied, please know that it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. It's the person who's bullying you. They're unhappy in their own life. They're insecure in their own life. They're insecure in their own self. They have nothing going on in their own life that they feel like they need to make your life a living hell. Even in former relationships, I've been bullied and abused, and I won't tolerate it now. Even when Dave, like, he, when he starts speaking to me in a certain tone of voice, I'm like, I'm not going to tolerate that. You are not going to speak to me that way. It's also a respect thing. Anybody that's going to bully you doesn't respect you. And honestly, I think I'm an awesome person. Honestly, I'm a loving, giving, devoted friend, devoted mother. Every penny that I get in this house is spent on my children. I very rarely do anything for myself, ever. So very recently, I had to deal with something, and it was somebody's attempt to try to make me feel bad as a mother, and it was untrue. It was their way of trying to bully me into being the way that they wanted me to be, and it's not happening. It's not your fault, honestly. It's because you're not the way that they want you to be. You're not the way that they think you should be. Anything like that. When I'm your friend, I'm your friend. You can ask anybody that I'm really good friends with, and I would literally stop on a dime to try to help someone. My best friend, a few weeks ago, her boyfriend was riding to work on his bike. And I was in the middle of something one day. I was just in the middle of something. I don't remember what I was in the middle of. I think I had just gotten out of the shower. I was just getting into it or something. I was half dressed. And she called and she's like, Matt got hit by a car. I was like, that's it. I'm on my way. And I got dressed again. I told the girls, I said, I don't give a shit what you're wearing. Let's go. And the first thing that I did was drive to her house, pick her up. I got there so fast. We got there before the ambulance. And I would have done that for anybody. I would have done that for anybody. And I can count on. I've lost count how many times somebody has asked me for something, and I've gone out of my way to comfort them, to help them, to do whatever I need to do to console them. You know, how many times I've had girlfriends of mine in abusive relationships where they've been like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know why he talks to me this way. You don't deserve it. And I've been there, and I've been sitting there going, yeah, you don't deserve it. You need to get out of this. You need to, figure out a way, he's not treating you right, whatever. Even in an abusive relationship, it's still bullying because they're still trying to get you to do what they want you to do. And so it's not it's bullying is not a good thing. I mean, the girls aren't even allowed to bully each other. Like, they're not allowed to, like if Lilia wants Holly to do something, and she's like, well, I want you to do it this way. And Holly's like, well, I want to do it this way. Yeah, I'll sit there and listen to it. But if Lily's like really trying to bully Holly into doing something, I'm like, no, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Guys, shh. You can't do that. It's not right. Bullying's not right. So if anybody's bullying you, please understand that it's not you. It's not you. Never let anyone's opinion define you. What was the quote again? See, this is why I wrote it down. Never allow yourself to be defined by someone else's opinion of you. It's one thing if somebody's going, well, if you do it this way, it might be a little easier. But if they're sitting there going, you're stupid, you're horrible, whatever bullying, phrases they use to try to get you to do whatever it is that you want to do, or they want you to do, that's a form of bullying. You need to find your strength. You need to find it deep within yourself to not allow them to talk to you that way. Stand up for yourself. Say, fuck you, I'm not going to let you do that to me. Hell no. Y'all that have been watching me for a while, you've seen me go off on video like that. You've seen me go, you're not going to get the best of me. You're not going to intimidate me. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to, whatever. Because I've been bullied for so long and my self-confidence is so high, I don't let that shit fly. Not going to happen. Because I found my strength. I found my security. I found my self-esteem. And I know that, it may be really tough for you for a while until you find your voice, until you find your self-confidence enough that you're just going to say, enough. Enough. Nobody gets to speak to you disrespectfully. Even a boss. Even, somebody in authority. They don't get to speak to you like you're a piece of trash. They don't, it's common courtesy and common decency that you don't speak to somebody like that. You don't sit there and say to somebody, oh, you stupid Cal, you didn't do it the right way. This is the way you do it, because you're so stupid you can't figure it out on your own. No. Or another form of bullying is, it's called gaslighting. And this happens a lot in cheating relationships where the guy is cheating on the girl and the girl figures it out, but she's confronting the guy And the guy's like, "Oh, you're crazy. What are you talking about? You're out of your mind. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not doing that. You're imagining things. You're crazy." It's gaslighting. I mean, I guess bullying, abuse, gaslighting, negging, whatever you want to call it. Nobody has the right to treat you like that. Nobody has the right to speak to you in a manner that makes you feel like shit. Even when you're, in a relationship and you're having an argument with your spouse, your boyfriend, whatever, girlfriend, they don't get to speak to you in a way that's going to make you feel like shit. Even when me and Dave were arguing, when we were together, there's not one time that I can sit there and say that I have ever called him any kind of names. Well, except for an asshole, but he calls himself an asshole. He says he's a self-proclaimed asshole. I've never sat there and said, "Oh my God, you're so fucking stupid. I can't understand why you're whatever." Like I've never, because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. I've been in one of those situations where, the guy is treating me like crap, and I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, no, you're not going to do that anymore. There's a few sites that I'm on that somebody will say something and I'll be like, no. I nip that shit right in the butt right there. I'm like, you're not going to speak to me that way. You're not going to speak to me that way. It does not matter that we're online. It does not matter that you're on the other side of the country or you're on the, on the other side of the screen. It does not matter. You do not get to speak to me that way. And they may call me a bitch, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You call me a bitch, good. I am a bitch. But I'm not going to settle for that. I will not tolerate it, and you shouldn't either. Nobody gets to speak to you in a way that's going to make you feel like shit. Any kind of bullying, any kind of abuse, any kind of negging, and if you don't know what negging means, basically negging is when someone says, okay, an ex-boyfriend of mine used to do this to me all the time. Because I was a dancer. You guys know that. And, before kids, well, after my first two, but before these three. My stomach is not the best in the world. I'm not 18 years old anymore. And I wasn't then. But one of his favorite things to do was to make me feel like shit about my stomach. I have stretch marks. It's part of being a mother. It's part of having kids. My mother had stretch marks. If your mother had stretch marks, if your grandmother had stretch marks, it's a very high possibility you're going to get stretch marks when you have babies. Julia, shh. He would always be, "You're so beautiful, but your stomach, ugh." That's a form of negging. Negging is also being like, when someone says, "Oh, she/he has such a great personality, but man, that's another." But they say it like to your face, and this video is almost a half hour long. I really need to close it up, but my whole point is, and I warned you guys that it was going to be a long video. My whole point is, if somebody's making you feel like shit, you don't have to take it. There are so many different places that you can get help. There are so many phone numbers that you can call. There's the National Abuse Hotline. I think that's what it's called. The domestic violence, whatever. There's suicide prevention hotlines, because there's a lot of people out there that are bullied constantly, and they get to the point where they're just like, "Oh my God, I can't take it. I'm going to kill myself." There's, things like that. I'm going to look up all the information, and I'm going to put it right there in the description. If you need help, please get it. Please, get out of the situation you're in. Stand up for yourself. Don't let anybody speak to you in a way that makes you feel like shit. And I've said that like 4 times now, I think. But you can get out of this situation, and I really, really hope you do, because bullying, abuse, negging, whatever you want to call it, remember it's not you. It's them. It's not your fault. So, I'm going to go. Be well. Be safe. Bye.